Hi everyone, Tanner here. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to talk about preoccupation or obsessiveness and how it relates to neuroplastic pain, which I know for myself, I tend to get a little preoccupied by things sometimes in life. And Alan Gordon talks about how neuroplastic pain is more of a fear and preoccupation problem than a pain problem. And so, if we want to unlearn our pain, we need to also unlearn being preoccupied by our pain. And in today's video, I'm going to explain some strategies that we can use to shift away from being preoccupied by our pain or other things in life. So, let's get into it. Preoccupation is really a fancy way of saying being obsessed about something or excessively thinking about something. And so many people with mind-body concerns struggle with being preoccupied by their pain symptoms. We are often always thinking about why we're in pain, what triggered it, how is it going to affect our day, how can I fix this? What's the solution? And really also debating on if it's neuroplastic or not. I remember at the worst of it, I was probably thinking about my pain 80% of the day. I was obsessed in trying to figure out why I was in pain and how I could fix it. And it's rare that I work with people that are thinking about their pain less than 30% of the day, which is still a lot. And this makes sense because neuroplastic pain is more of a fear and preoccupation problem than an actual pain problem. And the problem with being preoccupied about our pain is the more we're excessively thinking about it and trying to fix it, the more danger our brain and nervous system feels. And when the brain and nervous system feels in danger, it can generate, amplify, and maintain pain symptoms. And this makes sense because if you're fearfully thinking about something all day, your brain and nervous system is just going to constantly feel on high alert. So, why do we become preoccupied by our pain? Because, yes, I know, pain sucks. It really sucks. And when we're in pain, it seems like the most important thing we need to do in that moment is excessively think about it and figure it out. But preoccupation starts to occur so much with our brain because it becomes a familiar state to the brain. We almost become addicted to preoccupation. And this occurs because we're using the neural networks associated with preoccupation so much that we've learned to be preoccupied by our pain over time. In addition, it also becomes really familiar to the brain to be on high alert or be in a state of fight or flight. And preoccupation and being on high alert starts to feed off of each other. People with mind-body concerns often become addicted to preoccupation in life long before they develop chronic pain. And I know for myself this was the case because early on in life, when I was about 16 or 17, I became highly addicted to drugs and alcohol. And if you know anything about addiction, it involves a lot of preoccupation about the substances that you use. Now, fortunately, when I was 18, I became sober, and I've been sober ever since. But even after that, I had a long list of things that I would become preoccupied by. And my preoccupation would almost start to shift around. So at first, I was preoccupied by school, work, diet, exercise, and body image, trying to heal my anxiety, sleep, and eventually chronic pain. So think back on your life and see if you have a history of being preoccupied since an early age. Because it's likely that you were addicted to preoccupation long before you developed chronic pain. Often in treatment, while people are unlearning their pain, all of a sudden the preoccupation will shift off of their pain and onto work or fearful situation. And as a result, sometimes their pain completely dissipates, which is a pretty clear sign that you have a preoccupation problem more than a pain problem. And something that people will also start to recognize on their mind body journey is that if they don't think about their pain, then it's just not there. Now, the solution to preoccupation is learning to shift away from being preoccupied by something, which is difficult to do, but really important. And I want to teach you a skill called the 3 R's. It's not actually called that, but it's a really easy way to remember it. Now, the first R is recognize. We need to recognize that our brain has gravitated us towards preoccupation again because it's a familiar state. Now, this sounds simplistic, but it's actually the hardest step to do because sometimes we're so wrapped up in preoccupation that we don't even realize our brain has snapped us back into it. An example of this is on Friday nights while I was relaxing at home trying to watch some TV. It was about 8 p.m. and I was totally preoccupied by a work problem that I was dealing with. I was excessively thinking about it, and I was so caught up in it that it took me about an hour before I recognized that my brain had snapped back into preoccupation and being on high alert. And the second R is reappraise. When we're preoccupied by something, we think it is the most important thing we need to be thinking about in that moment. And we think it's vital that we think about it excessively. But we need to reappraise that it is not useful or helpful for us to be preoccupied by this right now. And what's occurred is our brain is pulling us back into danger mode because the physical sensations of preoccupation are just so familiar to the brain. And in terms of chronic pain, it is never useful to be preoccupied by it. And in fact, if we want to unlearn our pain, we need to start thinking about it less and less over time. And in my example on Friday nights, I thought it was the most important thing for me to be doing at 8 o'clock at night on a Friday for me to be excessively thinking about this work problem. But I needed to reappraise, and I did. I simply told myself, it is not useful or helpful for me to be doing this right now. And as a result, it starts to break the level of importance that I was placing on it. And the last R is replace. We need to replace with messages of safety, cognitively or somatically. Now, cognitively, we can give ourselves balanced messages of safety about the situation or topic that we're obsessed about by reminding ourselves that it will likely be okay either way. And with our pain, we can tell ourselves that we're safe right now, this is just a sensation, and it will eventually pass. And in my Friday night preoccupation example, I just told myself that the work problem I was obsessing about, it would likely be okay either way. It may not be great either way, but it will be okay either way. Somatically, we can also replace with feeling safe in our body. One of the best ways to give our brain the message that we're safe is learning to attend to our internal state. And so when you're caught in preoccupation, we can actually practice shifting from our mind in excessive thinking onto the dysregulation or difficult emotion that we're likely feeling in our body. And this is what I did on Friday nights. When I noticed that I was caught in preoccupation, I recognized I was there, I reappraised it wasn't useful, I then practiced replacing by shifting onto the anxiety I was feeling in my body. And just allow yourself to explore it, breathe with it as a way to soothe it, and learn to sit with the discomfort. And over time, what will happen is you'll start to feel safer and safer in your body. And as we do this more and more, the brain will get better at shifting from being so lost in thought to being able to sit with sensations in your body. So next time you're caught in preoccupation, practice using these 3 R's. Because over time what will happen is your brain will less likely gravitate in that direction as you practice this repetitively. So thanks for watching. Please put your questions or comments down below, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel, as I'm going to release videos every week talking about neuroplastic pain and mind-body syndrome. Take care of yourself.